So today we're going to be working with some movements in our limbs, arms and legs, and even coming down to explore movements with our fingers and our toes. We're going to start sitting, so find a seat where you're comfortable, you're not on wheels, preferably no arms so that your arms can move in whatever way you choose. And you'd like to sit with your knees no higher than your hips. If necessary, you could sit on a pillow or a blanket. Your feet well into the floor. We'll begin with an affirmation. And so this helps us to make the shift from being more externally aware to more internally aware. We're tuning into what Thomas Hanna referred to as your soma. It's a deep aspect of wisdom. It is your first person internal lived experience. And it is where any illusion of separation between body and mind disappears, because we are one, body, mind, and spirit. And we can experience that when we are tuning in, rather than perhaps just experiencing ourselves as a body. We'll use our body to help affect change within our structure, resetting muscles that have become tight, regaining a sense of certain parts of our body if we've lost a sense of that part of ourself. And as we're intervening and improving our structure, we are upgrading all systems: endocrine, respiratory, cardiac, digestion, and so on. Okay, so you're sitting comfortably, spine tall, feet into the floor. This attunement has 3 different components, and you'll build so that you're doing all 3, or maybe you just work with 1 or 2. Begin by finding a breathing rhythm that is a little slower, a little deeper than it was a moment ago. If you can, breathing through your nose, breathing comfortably. As you inhale the next time, lightly touch your thumb to each fingertip once. Now as you exhale, repeat, touching each fingertip with your thumb 1 time. And continue. If you are coordinating your finger movement with your breath in a way that feels comfortable, you can now add in an affirmation. We'll use the phrase, "I control my inner peace." Repeating it silently to yourself as you inhale, touching each fingertip once, and then again as you exhale, touching each fingertip 1 time. When you complete your next cycle, release your finger movements, return to natural breathing, and notice the effects. And so now let's move into our somatic exercises. We're going to start with some movements done in your toes. And I'll turn to the side a little so maybe you can see. Remember that when you do these somatic movements, you move only as far as you can move in the direction we're going comfortably. The most important part of your movement is your slow, controlled release out of it. And as you're moving, you're putting your attention on the contracting side. So the side where you're shortening muscles to cause your body to move the way it's moving. You can always locate the contracting side of your movement. It's the side you're bending towards. When you're ready, intend to pick up all of your toes and slowly release. Inhale, pick up all of your toes. Exhale, slowly release them down. One more time, pick up your toes. You're doing that with muscles in the top of each foot, and then slowly release. Now press your toes down a little bit and slowly release and let them come back up. Inhale as you press your toes down. Exhale, slowly let them come up. And one last time, press your toes down. Go only as far as you can go easily. And slowly release. Pause a moment here. Notice if you find you have some new sensations in your toes. That's sensory feedback. It's communicated through your spinal cord to your brain from receptors located throughout your body, in your skin, your joints, your muscles. And in this work, we pay particular attention to that sensory feedback because our brain uses it to organize whatever movement we do next. Now we're going to move your feet to target some muscles in your lower leg. On an upcoming inhale, pick your heels up a little. Exhale slowly and with control, let your heels sink into the floor. Inhale, pick up your heels. Exhale, slowly release. One last time, inhale, pick up your heels. Exhale, slowly release them down. Now, organize your movement to inhale and pick up the front of your foot, ball of foot and toes. Exhale, slowly release your foot to the floor. Inhale, pick up a little bit. Exhale, slowly come down. Make sure you completely release. Remember, we're trying to reset the resting length of the muscle into length. And if you hold and prevent the movement from completely releasing, then you're not letting that muscle reset to its fullest length. When you've done that movement 3 times, pause. Sense your feet on the floor. They may feel heavier, broader. You may feel warmth, coolness. And now we're going to work with muscles in your hip flexor muscles. They bring your leg towards your body in this variation. Hip flexors can also bring your body towards your leg. Here we're using them to bring your leg towards your body. It's a small movement. Let's begin with your right leg. Put your attention right in the area of your hip crease. And as you inhale, pick your leg up a little bit. And as you exhale, release and let your leg and foot sink. Inhale, pick your leg up a little. Exhale, slowly come down. Pause when you complete your next movement and see if you feel in your right side different sensations than what you're finding in your left side. Now let's work with your left side in the same way. 3 times slowly. Inhale, pick your leg up a little. Exhale, release, and come back down. You may feel your tightening muscles, contracting them in your left hip to pick up, and then you feel them relaxing as you come down. You may not yet feel that. Just put your attention there and know that the muscle is contracting, otherwise your leg wouldn't be lifting. And slowly release. And when you've completed 3 with each side, relax and sense what you've created. So now we're going to take advantage of this seated position to work with some muscles in the front of your upper leg. They straighten your knee. If, like me, you're a little forward in your seat, slide back so that as much of your upper leg is resting on your chair as can be. Using these muscles, you could rest your right hand on the front of your leg. As you straighten that knee, extend your knee, which causes your foot to move away from you, and it may lift. You'll feel under your right hand the muscles kind of press up into your hand. As you relax and allow your foot to come down again, the muscle is now softer. Inhaling, extend your knee. Exhaling, slowly release. Inhale as you move. Exhale as your brain decontracts the muscle and resets it into length. Stand your right foot next to your left and notice. Working now with your left quadricep group. Inhale as you extend your knee. Go only as far as you go comfortably. Don't pull on hamstring muscles in the back of your upper leg. And when you've completed about 3 cycles, stand your left foot next to your right and notice what you notice. So let's do one more thing. It's a movement that we can only do safely when our knees are bent. It's a wonderful movement, and it actually, in addition to muscles in your lower leg, it is recruiting some of your hamstring muscles. So it's a nice way to work with your hamstring muscles at the back of your upper leg. Your movement happens below your knee, so it's a rotation of your foreleg, which will cause your feet to turn out a little and turn in a little. As best you can, keep your feet flat on the floor. Heels stay where they are. Turn out a little and release. Now turn in a little and release. Alternate turning out. You're recruiting outer hamstrings. Release. And when you turn in, you're recruiting inner hamstrings and release. And when you complete your next cycle, pause. Scan your body. Notice if you are sensing new sensations, or maybe there's an awareness of places in your body that you haven't sensed to this degree before. So now let's come up and we'll work with some muscles in your arms. Allow your hands to rest. If it feels more comfortable to put your hands up on a pillow, you can. Palms up. And we're going to flex your fingers. It's a gripping motion. Curl your fingers and thumbs in and slowly release. Without turning on any new muscles, just release, which probably means your fingers don't end up straight. Curl your fingers and thumbs in and slowly release. Inhale as you curl in. Exhale as you slowly release. Now to work with the muscles that extend your fingers, straighten them and separate them. Turn your palms down, and on an inhale, straighten your fingers out. They may lift a little. Exhale, let your fingers relax into support. Inhale, extend your fingers. Exhale, slowly release. Inhale, extend your fingers. Exhale, slowly release. And pause a moment to notice what you notice. So let's combine some finger movement with wrist movement, and then we'll work through your arm joints all the way up to your shoulders. I'll turn a little to the side. Once again, have your palms facing up. Flex your fingers, and now flex at your wrist so your palm comes towards your body. Slowly release. Remember, only go as far as you can go easily. Don't pull on muscles in the back of your hand that feel like they're pulling against you. Curl your fingers in, flexing fingers and wrists. Slowly release. Curl fingers in, flexing at your fingers and wrist, and slowly release. Turn your hands over, extend your fingers, and extend your wrist. So now the back of your hand comes towards your body, and slowly release. Extend your fingers, extend your wrist, and slowly release into support. Inhale as you move. Exhale as you release into support. Pause. Before we move up to your elbows and shoulder joints, we're going to do a different movement here at your wrist that a lot of us have never considered doing intentionally. It's a very beneficial movement. In your wrist extension flexion, your wrist was moving in this forward-backward pattern. Now we're going to do side-to-side movement. Rest your hands so you're on the pinky side of your hands, your palms face each other, and lift your wrist. Push your pinky down to lift your wrist and slowly release. Lifting your wrist, It's your pinkies coming towards your outer forearm, and slowly release. One more time. Now, by virtue of how your bones fit together, this way there's not usually as much movement. So now, bring the thumb side of your hand towards your forearm as though you're pushing your outer wrist down, and release. Thumb side of hand towards forearm, and release. And then let your hands rest in whatever position is comfortable. Take a moment to scan and notice the sensations. Okay, bring your arms down alongside. You're sitting up tall, feet well into the ground. Help us to sit tall. So if you need to come forward in your chair, do. Flexion at your elbow is bend. Your hands come toward your shoulders. And as you slowly release in your biceps, your hands release down towards the floor. Inhale as you flex at your elbow. Exhale as you slowly release. Extension or straightening at your elbow you do with tricep muscles, the other side of your arm from your biceps. They're at the back of your arm. Extend your elbow, your hand may move back a little, and slowly release. Extend at your elbow and slowly release. Relax. And now let's combine elbow flexion extension with shoulder flexion extension. Flex at your elbows, flex at your shoulders. That's your upper arms going forward and up. Release at your shoulder, release at your elbow. Flex at your elbows, flex at your shoulders, and slowly release. So if flexion at your shoulder is your arms going forward, extension at your shoulder joint is arms going back. Extend at your shoulders, extend at your elbow, and release. Allow your arms to come forward and rest. Extend at your shoulder, extend at your elbow, and slowly release. Extend at your shoulder, extend at your elbow, and release. Let your arms rest. Take a moment and notice what you notice. Let's do one more movement here. We're working with muscles in your upper arm. We have, by virtue of our special elbow joint, the ability to not only bend and straighten, but we can do this rotation at our forearm without doing anything in our upper arm. It's called pronation and supination. Start once again with your palms facing each other. You're on the pinky side of your hand. and start to turn your forearms so your palms go more down, and then release. Move in the direction of turning your palms down and then release. Pronating at your forearm and release. Starting from palms, well, we'll do the same thing. Palms facing each other. Now, supination, turning palms more up and slowly release. Turning palms more up and slowly release. And then let your hands and arms come to rest. Relax for a moment, scan your body, notice the sensations you've created. And before we close, let's do a movement with our spine to work with muscles of our spine. You've been sitting a while, and so those muscles might appreciate resetting. And it's also the way to incorporate some of what we've been doing with our arms and legs into a full body, a full soma movement. I'm going to come forward so that I feel less stuck in my chair. My feet are well into the floor. I'm going to start with my hands resting over my knees. When I move my shoulder, it's connected via my arm to my hand, so my hands may end up in the movement, sliding up and down my leg. On an inhale, arch your spine, move your low back, your belt line forward a little, lift your breastbone, your head can tilt back a little, a nice continuous gentle arc, and slowly release. Now a gentle flexion. Pressing your belt line back a little, my pubic bone has drawn up to my chest, sinking my breastbone back, my thoracic spine is rounding, and my chin can come a little towards my chest. As I relax all the muscles that I just contracted in my abdomen and chest, I release up to neutral. We're going to slowly, gently alternate between that arching and flexion of the spine, and we'll add in different parts of your body. Put your attention on the side that you're bending towards, so you're tuning into the contracting side of your movement. Remember to move comfortably and with ease. On an inhale, arch your spine, lift your heels, draw your shoulders back. Exhale, slowly release, return to your neutral. Exhale, gently flex your spine, pick up ball of foot, move your shoulders and arms forward, and slowly release. Continue 2 more cycles. Inhale, arch, pick up your heels, slide your shoulders back. Release to neutral. With an exhale, curl forward, flexing at your ankles, flexing at your shoulders, and slowly return to neutral. Inhale, arch. Exhale, slowly release. Exhale, curl. Inhale, slowly release. Pause a moment when you complete. Tune in and notice the effects of the movements you did. And let's do a rotational movement. before we do our ending attunement and close. Have your feet a comfortable distance on the floor. Make sure that you're not too far back in your chair that you feel stuck. You want to be able to move. Your feet stay on the floor depending on how far your knees go to either side. You may end up on the edge of your foot. And at your ankle, you're doing what's called inversion, eversion. Arms at your side, start with your palms facing each other. Turn your arms so that one palm faces forward, one palm faces back. And notice you're actually turning your arms and hands with your shoulders. Turn your head to the side, your palm faces forward. Take your knees to the side, your palm faces back. Slowly change everything to the other side. And continue to alternate in a slow, comfortable rhythm. Complete the movement you're in the midst of. Reposition in your chair if it's more comfortable for you to do so. Close your eyes if you'd like. Scan your body with your mind and notice the effects of what we've been doing together. Place one or both hands over the left side of your chest in the area of your heart. Move your attention to the part of you where your hands are resting. Begin to breathe a little slower, a little deeper than you were just a moment ago. Continue to breathe comfortably. Imagine you were breathing those slow, deep breaths in and out of your heart. This is a practice called heart-focused breathing, and we'll practice for the next minute. Bring that practice to a conclusion. If you brought your hands up, lower them down. Scan your body and notice the effects. If your eyes are closed, slowly float them open. Thank yourself for your practice today. Namaste.